The way Dark Road utilized its world was amazing. Possibly some of the best we've seen in the entire Kingdom Hearts series, story-wise. We had Xehanort find out Ventus's location through the magic mirror. That's how Xehanort initially found his friend from his younger years, from his memories from his younger years, through the magic mirror. You had amazing and funny interactions in the dialogue, and we were able to talk to our dead upperclassmen through the underworld from Olympus? I wasn't even convinced that was going to work. I honestly thought that when they went to the underworld, some weird shenanigans were going to happen. They weren't going to be able to find those classmates or talk to those classmates through the underworld because of some laws and how the world works or something. But that was not the case at all. And Disney World overall just had a vibe, a feeling this time around that was overall just refreshing. I would make a comparison to how I felt when I replayed Days a couple of years ago. I feel like having characters outside of Sora in Disney World creates a lot of situations and interactions you normally just would not have happen. Of course, the same goes for Sora, but we've seen Sora in Disney World since the creation of Kingdom Hearts. So it naturally just feels a lot more fresh and different when you have characters like Xehanort going to a Disney World, characters like Roxas, Xion going to a Disney World. But it's interesting to see how these characters interact with these other Disney villains, with these other Disney characters, especially when they're in bigger groups. Like we had Xehanort's entire classroom going to Agrabah, going to Olympus, and you would have some sit there and fight the Heartless, and the others go off and talk to whoever they have to talk to. Seeing Xehanort's facial expressions as he's listening to what Jafar is saying, like this boy lying through his teeth. Xehanort being one of the few who was that suspicious of Jafar, while Ericus is still naive, kind of more Sora-like. It's just nice to see these characters talk about their thoughts about the Disney World plots, what's going on, while also talking what they're here for, their objectives, still trying to find the upperclassmen, seeing if this can possibly help them in any way, shape, or form. And I think you just get really good dialogue out of these scenes. I especially love the interactions that Hades was having with the other Keyblade wielders. They weren't really afraid of Hades at all, no fear, no anything, but they were still slightly playing along. And it's honestly just always a good time to see Hades in Kingdom Hearts. He's always an entertaining character. But it was really interesting seeing how he interacted with Ericus, Xehanort, and the rest of the classmates. It was just really fun. And the reason I compared it 2 days earlier to Roxas and Xion is because I felt a similar way. In a lot of the Disney Worlds and Days, as I've gone on about in a lot of videos, Roxas and Xion actually question a lot of the events that are happening in the Disney worlds. They're not there to stick around or make a connection to the characters. They're very much so there to finish their mission, finish their objective, but they do see some things that, you know, are curious to them, like, huh, why do you care about this? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And during those little moments, especially during the game mostly, because the game's the only thing that has the Disney worlds, you kind of get a deeper look into the minds of those characters, and it just helps enhance their characters even more when we do get to even more major scenes in the original worlds or by the end of the game. In Dark Road's case, a lot of the most major plot developments did happen in the Disney worlds, like Xehanort finding Ventus through the magic mirror, like us being able to talk to the dead classmates in the underworld, surprisingly Hades letting us do that. And the Disney worlds themselves even had some stakes a little bit. You had Keyblade wielders dying in these worlds. When Xehanort's classmates were told not to, you know, continue the search for the upperclassmen once finding out, you know, what their plans were, they still continued anyways. And darkness would end up getting them after their adventure to Olympus. And with the upperclassmen, you did have them, you know, struggling in battles against Maleficent, for example, or darkness. And they actually lost their lives while in a Disney world. And having stuff like that just happen is crazy. And Dark Road is definitely among the more tragic Kingdom Hearts games, one of the darker Kingdom Hearts games. I mean, Dark Road is in the title. And to mention some of the earlier stuff even, I was under the interpretation before we got the trailers for Dark Road, before we knew Dark Road was going to be coming back this year, I was under the interpretation that the upperclassmen were probably just not going to be found, and that Xehanort's classmates will end up passing through some other means. But the story really went in an unpredictable way. We did find the upperclassmen, half of them were dead, but the other half, the other few who survived, we did find them in Disney worlds. And they were trying to upset the balance of the worlds for their plot. These characters were using the Disney worlds more so as tools for their greater purposes, using the underworld to talk to the upperclassmen, which we got a great conversation out of them about light and dark darkness and the perspectives like of him, using the magic mirror to answer your own personal questions. I really just love it and have to commend Dark Road for the way it handled these worlds, even though there was only a few of them. I've said it many times since I've watched Dark Road's finale, since I've seen Union Cross's finale. If we have this type of writing, this type of storytelling going into Kingdom Hearts 4, going into the next saga, we are in such good hands, and I am so excited for what the next saga has to bring. And games like Dark Road just give me even more confidence in the future story of Kingdom Hearts. I just can't wait. But tell me what some of your thoughts are. Tell me, how do you feel about the Disney Worlds and Dark Road from what you watched, what you played? The only thing Dark Road Disney Worlds are really missing that much of is on the gameplay side, I would say, which the rest of the Kingdom Hearts games have. But again, what are your thoughts on this? Other than that, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, share it with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is that red subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.
Now she's a daydreamer. She's always thinking about it. No more room in this picture for you to fit in. Now she's crying on the phone, telling you she's not good enough for him. When you think that she is perfect in every